Hey guys, do you ever look at your bathroom towel bars and think there's got to be a better way? Well, I had that same thought, and every time I do that, I always picture Joey from Friends when he's acting in the infomercial saying, "There's got to be a better way." Well, there is, Kevin, and there is all of you. And I found this better way to do towel bars in the bathroom, and it's actually pretty simple. So I'm going to show you here are the towel bars that I created this last summer, and they've held up pretty well, which I'm extremely excited about because you try things and you're never sure, like, hey, is this actually going to last? It looks great now, but how's it going to look a year from now? So this is about 9 months old. What I did was I went to Lowe's and I bought some of this galvanized pipe. I bought the kind of the mount, which I screwed in with 4 screws. I bought just a basic small piece, an elbow, and then one of the longer pieces, which you can buy longer pipe and have them cut it at the store for you, and then they'll also put in the threads for you as well if you have to get a custom length. But I actually liked this overall length, and it was a standard size that they had, so that's what I bought, and I figured, hey, it's just that much easier. Pinterest makes these galvanized projects look pretty easy, and they're easy, but they're not necessarily cheap. So while this was a very easy project, it probably still cost me $30-40 to make each of these, and I've got 2 of them. And but at the same time, these are not going to fall apart. I hated the old towel bars where you had to line it up exactly, stud and find the studs and get everything to line up right, and you needed almost 6 hands to keep it all together while you were putting it together. And then it would fall apart after, a year or so. So figure there's got to be a better way, and there is. So what I did was I mounted them to pieces of wood, and I just used rough boards from a beetle-kill pine lumber yard. I kept them very rough. I sanded them down a little bit just so there weren't any rough edges, but I kept all the parts that have like the bark, which I live in a log cabin, so for me this makes sense. And I liked how the industrial side of the pipe kind of contrasts with the rustic wood. But then what I did was I looked for studs. So I did look for studs, and I don't remember exactly which ones were studs. It might have been this one and this one, or it was this one and this one. But at least on both of my shelves, I remember when I drilled them in, at least 2 of the screws that went into the wood, at least 2 of those are in studs on both sections. And then even some of these sections, some of these screws for here, I know some of these hit some pieces of stud too. So when I look at it, you can see the camera shaking as I am trying to pull on them. These are so solidly in the wall that I don't ever have to worry about, like, if a kid actually accidentally grabs it and pulls, it's not going to just fall off the wall. At the same time, because I screwed everything together, my handlebar is not going to fall apart. So it's a really simple way to make a handlebar and a towel bar that's going to stay steady and stay strong, but also one that is going to look kind of cool. And it was easy to mount to the wall. It was easy for me to connect it and find connection with a stud. And so I've loved these. They've held up really well. I was a little worried about, if they would start to rust a little bit. And you can see in some of the threads, it started rusting a little bit, or maybe that was just buildup. But what I did was I took steel wool and I scrubbed in with the steel wool, and then I took some clear polyurethane and coated all of the threads so that any moisture that gets in here won't affect it. So, you know, these shouldn't rust, but I just figured that extra coat of protection wouldn't be an issue. And sure enough, these towel bars have held up really, really well. They use unique wood from Colorado, which is super cool, and it adds this kind of industrial rustic look to our bathroom that I just really, really love.